26th day of September 2025. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining me this morning on the show. This is a Morning Cafe, such a wonderful show lined up for you today, this Friday, to ensure that we give you vibes on vibes. We'll be having youth perspective later on in the course of the show. And of course, Bansi Kimoyi will also be joining us later on for some Friday vibes and to cue in the weekend for us. But first, let's take a look at the stories making headlines in the country and of course regionally as well. We start off with the Daily Nation. Whistleblower on Shah fraud loses job. People Daily talks about Uhuru's first 3 years being much better than Ruto's. Taifa Leo, kilio cha familia. How big borrowers pressure SACCOs for unsecured loans. That's the Business Daily. The Weekend Star report big trouble in Kenya's top hospitals. And finally, People Daily, Uhuru's first 3 years, once again, were much better than Ruto's. I realize I already read it here. Those are some of the conversations we'll be having with this panel of young women and men this morning, just to talk about matters or issues shaping the political stage in the country. Bansi Kimoyi will be joining me once again for Feel Good Friday with DJ Kicks. Let's cross over to Uganda now. We start off with the new vision government to recruit 50,000 teachers, and President promises special fund for local leaders. That is President Yoweri Museveni, and that story has been covered on page 5 of this newspaper. And over 30,000 NUP supporters cross to NRM. Matters politics gaining momentum ahead of January 26th general election in Uganda as campaigns also take shape. They make mention of why more married women are seeking abortion on page 3 of this newspaper, and uncertainty as IGG Kamye deputies contracts expire. That's news making headlines in the New Vision this morning. But still in Uganda, we take a look at the Daily Monitor. 3 women seeking to unseat Among sued. This is the Speaker of the Parliament, the National Assembly, Anita Among, in Uganda, and they say contention. The 3 aspirants from Bukedea Women Member of Parliament seat are sued together with the Electoral Commission, with the petitioner pushing for the trio to be blocked, claiming they don't originate from the area and have since been deleted from the Electoral Commission voters register. That story is on page 4. Queries over no woman in 2026 presidential race. 2 women were not able to meet the signatures that were required to contest as presidential candidates in Uganda, and they were removed out of the race. Now, queries over no woman in 2026 presidential race takes center stage as well in Uganda. This story has been covered on page 2. Other stories on the front page of the Daily Monitor this morning. Shilling holds firm as demand for dollar softens. And IEGG office remains vacant after Kamye's contract expires. That is the Office of the Inspector General of Government, meaning the government entity that is mandated to lead in the fight against corruption is toothless. And this follows the expiry of the contract of Ms. Betty Kamye and 2 of her deputies on Monday this week. On the top strip, Betty Cheptoyek carrying the torch for the disabled, a special feature about this special lady Betty Cheptoyek in page 25 of this newspaper. That's news making headlines in Uganda. Let's cross over to Tanzania now and to start off with The Citizen. What East Africa harmonized degrees mean for Tanzanian graduates. And Tanzanian graduates who have for a long time grappled with the harsh reality of limited job opportunities at home can now knock on doors in Nairobi or Kampala for employment thanks to common credit and course systems devised through an initiative under the Inter-University Council for East Africa. According to Professor Charles Kithampa, that is Tanzanian Commission for University Executive Secretary, he says this is the essence of harmonization. It allows the mobility of students and staff and makes sure that the qualifications of Tanzanians are recognized everywhere in the region. Other stories here: matters politics, Samia will turn Mchinga into agribusiness hub as part of efforts to eradicate poverty. Story on page 3, campaigns gaining momentum as well ahead of October 27 general election, that is next month. And this photo here is of a section of a crowd that turned up for CCM Union presidential candidate Samia Suluhu Hassan's election campaign rally in Mchinga district yesterday. Tanzanian government welcomes appeal for laws empowering private sectors. Another story covered on the Business Daily, page 8 and 9 of this newspaper. And the government has welcomed calls for a business lobby for stronger laws and policies to prioritize local participation in the economy. And this indicates potential reforms aimed at solidifying the private sector's role in Tanzania's long-term vision. Call for reinvention of local media amid multiple crises. And on the top strip, Zablon, the Kiswahili tutor using the language to promote tourism. That's the Citizen this morning. Gazeti la Mwananchi still in Tanzania. TEC yawapa onyo mapadri na watawa. Yawataka kutovaa sare, kubeba mabango ya vyama na kujihusisha na siasa. Askofu Pisa asema wana Uhuru kumpigia kura wanayemtaka. Masala ya siasa pia pale. Samia avuna wapinzani, ahidi jambo gesi asilia. That is Samia Suluhu Hassan akihutubia wananchi wa Mtama mkoani Lindi hapo jana. Hapa Tunduma tutaweka daraja la juu. Huyo ni mwalimu mgombea urais wa Tanzania kupitia chama cha ukombozi wa umma, hiyo ni Chauma. Salim Mwalimu ametoa ahadi mbili kwa wakazi wa mkoa wa Songwe, ikiwemo ya kujenga barabara ya juu, that is a flyover, kuanzia eneo la Mpembe hadi mpaka wa kule Zambia. Vyoo vya kukaa ni raha na hatari kiafya katika enzi hili ya maendeleo ya kasi, ambapo miji inakuwa na teknolojia inachanja mbuga. Vyoo vya kisasa vya kukaa haviepukiki. Pengine jambo muhimu ni kuregulate that. Stories on page 12 of this newspaper. Masaju aeleza udhaifu unaowapa nafuu wahalifu. Habari nyingine katika ukurasa wa 3 wa gazeti hili. Na vile vile sababu Nicolas Sarkozy kufungwa miaka 5. Huyu ni rais wa zamani wa Ufaransa Nicolas Sarkozy wa miaka 70 amehukumiwa kifungo cha miaka 5 jela baada ya kupatikana na hatia ya ufadhili wa haramu wa kampeni za urais. Kule juu, Abbas kuzikwa Zanzibar, kampeni za simama. Na vile vile CCM yatangaza onyo madiwani wanaojipanga kusaka umea. Gazeti la Mwananchi hiyo. Tukisalia kule Zanzibar leo, Daktari Mwinyi azindua ujenzi uwanja wa ndege Pemba, campaign still ongoing, lakini amezindua a new uwanja wa ndege kule Pemba. Abbas Mwinyi kuzikwa leo Mangapwani, ungeni mkono ujenzi miradi ya maendeleo. Gazeti la Zanzibar leo. Kule juu, ACT yaahidi kuboresha mafao kwa wazee na vile vile wastaafu. Tukiangalia gazeti nyingine, gazeti la Habari Leo kule Bongo bado. Samia atoa uhakika mradi kwa kuchakata gesi. Ajivunia kazi iliyofanyika, ataja maeneo ya kipaumbele na vile vile atangaza mikopo kujenga masoko. Apokea waliohama CUF, Chauma na vile vile Chadema. Nchimbi ajivunia uzoefu kuongoza serikali. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa 3. IMF yaeleza kuimarika uchumi kule Tanzania. Gazeti la Habari Leo. Now we'll be back to take a look at the local dailies. Those are the stories making headlines regionally. Tuangalie hali ya anga sasa hivi this Friday. It's a cold morning in Nairobi, but we start off in Mombasa this morning. It's 24 degrees as we speak. This morning in Mombasa feels like 26. It's a partly cloudy day. Highs of 28 degrees. Precipitation in Mombasa today is 0.3 millimeters. This 28 degrees will persist throughout the week, going into next week as well. We cross over to Meru now. 14 degrees, feels like it this morning. Clear skies, highs of 25 degrees. This will change in the weekend and going into next week, up to 27 degrees. And precipitation in Meru today, 1.6 millimeters. Rain likely to occur starting 1 p.m. Weather in Marsabit, it's 21 degrees this morning, feels like 25, clear skies as well, highs of 31 degrees, and precipitation in Marsabit, nothing to show. Weather in Nakuru, 13 degrees, it's a mostly cloudy day in Nakuru. Kutanyesha leo kule, highs of 25 degrees. This will persist during the weekend and will get to 24 degrees next week. Precipitation here today, 4.3 millimeters, the highest we're seeing so far. Weather in Busia, yesterday it was very hot in this area. Today it's 18 degrees, still very hot. Feels like 19 this morning. It's a partly cloudy day. Highs of 29 degrees in Busia. And precipitation here, 0.8 millimeters. This weather will persist throughout the weekend, and going into next week on Saturday. Busia will be having 30 degrees. Finally, weather in Nairobi. 14 degrees, feels like it. It's a partly cloudy day. Highs of 26 degrees and precipitation in Nairobi 0.1 millimeters, very minimal rain, and 26 degrees will persist throughout the weekend. Next week we'll be experiencing highs of 27 degrees of the weather. Let's take a look at traffic situation. It's 10 minutes past 6 a.m. Tungoja ilot kidogo. Friday traffic, major tributaries to town. This is, we're looking at I'm being told to double tap this, lakini najua nikijaribu sana it will mess me up. All right, Westlands leading to town, it's clear. Usually there's nothing here on this road, and as you can see, clear roads today this morning. Muthaiga interchange building up slowly. This might be just matatus this morning, no red sporting there, so nothing to worry about this Friday if you're coming from Thika Road. Clear roads all the way to Kenyatta University, China Square there, clear today. Typical Friday traffic. If you go way back to Kiambu Road as well, clear roads, as you can see from this projection. Traffic Nairobi this morning. If you go way back to Eastlands, Jogoo Road, building up slowly as well. Just this is a usual traffic. Kangundo Road, nothing much to report. From New Njiru, clear all the way to Komarok, heading into town. Nothing to worry about there. Feather Estate, Embakasi, clear as well. Typical Friday traffic, literally. If we go way back to City Cabanas, the roads are clear. Typical Friday traffic, nothing to worry about this morning. If you're leaving for work, then this is the best time to do so. Let's have the quote of the day.
The strongest people are not those who show strength in front of us, but those who win battles we know nothing about. Remember, every small victory is a testament to your resilience.
All right, so let's come back and take a look at the local dailies now. We start off with the Star. Weekend Star report big trouble in Kenya's top hospitals. We have the physical copy here, and this story has been covered on page 4 and 5. Let's take a look at what it's saying. This is according to a report by InfoTrack. And public hospital gasping for breath amid financial woes and staff shortage. A new auditor has flagged systemic failures. This is according to the Auditor General and not the InfoTrack report, revealing a healthcare system plagued by financial mismanagement, inadequate staffing, and severe shortages of essential equipment and services. And the review by Nancy Gathungu, the Auditor General for the period covering June 30, 2025, paints a troubling picture of institutions struggling to fulfill their mandates despite massive public investment. And they say beyond financial mismanagement, the audit revealed severe deficiencies in service delivery, particularly in relation to universal health coverage benchmarks. Now, top of the list is staffing shortages, where level 4 hospitals require 101 staff members each, including 16 medical officers and specialists such as surgeons, pediatricians, and radiologists. Now, the audit uncovered many layers of financial irregularities, while hospitals reported a combined budget of 71.36 billion shillings. They spent only 67 billion shillings, resulting in an under-expenditure of 3 billion shillings. This story is on page 4 and 5 of the Star newspaper. Why majority of Kenyans feel country is headed in the wrong direction is another story covered by the Star. And 57% of those surveyed feel country is headed in the wrong direction. This is according to an InfoTrack survey. High cost of living, 66%, unemployment, 30%, poor governance, 15%, shy, not working, 15%, rampant corruption in the country, 14%, ongoing challenges in the education sector, 11%, matters poverty, 8%, extrajudicial killings at 7%, poor infrastructure, 6%, and lack of cohesion in the country, 5%. What Kenyans said in a survey. There's a top 10 reasons as to why they feel the country is not headed in the right direction. On the top strip, there is a Siasa pullout. Now or never declares Kalonzo as opposition braces for storm. Another story on page 7, race for State House. And fresh dispute between police chiefs oversight agency throws police hiring into disarray. That's the Weekend Star this morning. Fresh, independent and different. Grab a copy at 60 Kenyan shillings. Tukisonga mbele, People Daily, Uhuru's first 3 years were much better than Ruto's. And this is our special analysis by this newspaper. Tagline, People and Politics. This story has been covered on page 4 rather. And just to take a look at what they're saying, they are drawing contrasting views on Ruto and Uhuru's first 3 years in office. Say Ruto in 2022 inherited a debt-laden economy, rising global interest rates, and households squeezed by the cost of living. Uhuru's scorecard first 3 years have also been listed here and inside page 4. And the same mega project, Standard Gauge Railways construction, began in 2014. Uhuru's second year in power. 80 roads constructed to Tarling, 3,120 kilometers. Significant portion of the remaining roads being developed by county governments. Access to cheap loans. 600,000 Standard 1 pupils were already learning through tablets and laptops in 2016. And 2.2 million new houses, new households rather, and 22,000 schools linked to the electricity grid. Ruto's scorecard at 3 years, they make mention of it as well. And they say 1,036 kilometers of road construction. They say heavy taxation in 3 years that he has been in office. Eroded pay slips by 30%. Debt, which has risen to 11.81 trillion Kenyan shillings. And inflation rate, which went down to 3.6%. On the top strip, why IEBC will not conduct boundary review before 2027 polls is another mention in page 8 of this newspaper. That's the People Daily this morning. We'll take a look at this story, which has been covered as well in the front page of the Daily Nation, why IEBC won't create new electoral units ahead of 2027 polls. Now, whistleblower on SHA fraud loses job. A dossier on hospitals accused of filing bogus claims handed to DCI. Now, Andrew Rotich, the auditor who unearthed an alleged medical billing, that is a racket that prompted the closure of 1,300 drug hospitals, has lost his job at the Social Health Authority. Appointed the Deputy Director Forensic Audit and Risk Assurance in April this year, he is not among shortlisted candidates for fresh interviews for the post. This story is on page 4 and 5 of this newspaper. If you remember clearly, this is the person who unearthed some of the ghost hospitals in Bungoma. You take a look at it. Mr. Rotich is the Deputy Director Forensic Audit and Risk Assurance. As according to this newspaper, he is not listed among those to be interviewed on October 1st this year. The saga started in late August when the Ministry of Health uploaded payments made to thousands of facilities, and DCI is yet to issue a public update on the status of investigations. However, the size of the files submitted to investigators and the amount of legwork required to physically verify the several health facilities claimed payment for services they did not offer. That's the main headline on the front page of this newspaper. Whistleblower on SHA fraud loses job. Here, a gift for you and Kenya-France relationship. President William Ruto is here gifting his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron a Kenyan artifact during bilateral talks on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly in New York, USA yesterday. Now, why IEBC won't create new electoral units ahead of 2027 polls? Kenya is likely to head into the general election without a review of electoral boundaries, and the new electoral commission, like its predecessor, is reluctant to carry out the demarcation. The redrawing of constituency and ward borders is among the most politically sensitive undertakings in the electoral cycle, as it determines whether constituencies are split, merged, or scrapped, with direct consequences for citizen representation and political careers. On the top three, puzzle of woman's body delivered in parcel. The story, we covered it yesterday, and the Daily Nation makes mention of it once again on page 3 of this newspaper. And schools unrest, cash crisis hurt exam preparations. Another story covered on page 10. On the back page, Kenya Police FC wary of their Somali opponents. CAF Champions League second leg encounter will be held at Nyayo National Stadium on Sunday. Mogadishu can punish you anytime, Coach Ndiarige says ahead of their return march. And winless Gor poised to unleash Uganda forward. That's the Daily Nation this morning. Business Daily, how big borrowers pressure SACCOs for unsecured loans, and the SACCO Society Regulatory Authority, SASRA, and the Ministry of Cooperatives have raised the alarm of a growing trend where influential individuals infiltrate savings and credit cooperative society SACCOs with the aim of taking huge unsecured loans. Kenya, France to co-host Innovation Summit, that story that has also been mentioned at the front page of the Daily Nation. And on the ticker, auction of 10 oil blocks, delays on legal hitch, trademark war rattles softcare sanitary pads marketing, and CBK sets 1 billion shillings minimum capital for credit guarantee farms. That's the weekend edition of the Business Daily. Taifa Leo, kilio cha familia. Familia ya polisi aliyeuawa Haiti yalalama jinsi serikali ilishughulikia habari za mauti ya mpendwa wao. Na imekuwa ni roho mkononi kwa familia ya afisa wa polisi aliyepelekwa kisiwani Haiti kudumisha amani. Na juzi, Rais Ruto alipasua mbarika kwa kumtaja Benedict Kabiru Kuria kama mmoja wa waliopoteza maisha yao ili raia wa Haiti wafurahie utulivu. Familia yake jana ilikosoa huduma ya kitaifa ya polisi kwa kuwapotosha kuhusu waliko mwanao. Hii ni baada ya kupashwa habari za kifo cha Kuria na ujumbe kutoka NPS Jumatano jioni. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa pili wa gazeti hili. Vidokezo zaidi: safari kaunti za meza shilingi bilioni 60. COB asema Nyakango afichua magavana na MCAs walitumia shilingi bilioni 60 kwa safari ndani ya mwaka mmoja. Nitashinda bila Raila, Babu Owino asema. Ni mbunge asema hana uhakika atapata tikiti ya ODM kuwania ugavana wa Nairobi mwaka 2027. Na vidokezo zaidi ni Ushelisheli kumjua rais Jumapili. Raia wa Ushelisheli sasa wasubiri matokeo ya urais baada ya kupiga kura za kitaifa hapo jana. On the top strip, Kasipul, eneo lenye sifa za fujo. Eneo bunge hilo limepoteza wabunge wawili wakiwa afisini. Violence was also reported there on Wednesday. The Standard, a disturbed nation, struggling economy. Now the Anglican Church has torn into the Kenya Kwanza administration, accusing it of hiding behind statistics while wananchi remain trapped in economic despair. Archbishop Jackson Ole Sapit warned that the government's handout-style empowerment schemes are fueling frustration instead of easing joblessness and the high cost of living. A new Infotax survey backs the chart's position, with 57% of Kenyans saying the country is on the wrong path, citing overtaxation, corruption, poor healthcare, and youth unemployment as proof that official claims of stability ring hollow. This story has been covered in depth on page 4 at Rocky Road. Now, issues raised by church include unemployment and youth despair, constitutionalism and governance, economic outlook and corruption, human life and dignity, health sector challenges, education crisis, church governance and policies, peace and political stability as well. Now, causes of high cost of living mentioned there as well: taxes, global factors, government policies, and corruption. On the back page of the Standard, Eze excited to score his first Arsenal goal, and the new signing inspired the Gunners into Carabao Cup 4th round. Arsenal will clash with Brighton in the next round, while Man City tackles Swansea. Kane on record course with Bremen in his sights. Another story on the back page of the Standard this morning. All right, let's take a look at the caricatures now. This is the caricature on the Daily Nation. Speaking about the Jubilee today, Jubilee will be holding its NDC today, and we see Fred Matiang'i. All eyes are on him today. If at all, the Jubilee will front him as the 2027 presidential candidate for the Jubilee Party. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta has also been caricatured there holding a spanner, perhaps trying to fix the Jubilee Party. This is the cartoon on the Star, and the award goes to, it talks about the ongoing UNGA conference currently happening in New York. UNGA Blame on Door 2025. The award is being presented to our president here, President William Ruto, according to this caricature. This is the caricature on the People Daily. Former Prime Minister still on the caricatures. There is a seat here labeled 2027. On one side we see Ruto's camp, on the other is ODM camp. On one side he says Chalalam Tibi, and on the other Mimi Tosha for 2027. But on which side? He said ODM might front a candidate in 2027. Will he be the one? People Daily this morning. And finally, the Standard. Varsities unions still in strike. Lecturers are demanding an implementation of the 2017 CBA. We see the government also caricatured there, and the government has threatened them to go back to work. Those are the caricatures this morning, and once again on Youth Perspective, we'll be having these gentlemen and ladies to talk about issues shaping the political landscape in the country, to see their views. And later on, Bansi Kimoyo will be joining us later on the show alongside DJ Kicks for Feel Good Friday vibes later on, starting from 8 a.m. Now, meanwhile, interact with us on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, on X at TV47 Digital. My handle on X is at Anne_Odida. The hashtag on X is at TV47 Morning Cafe. If we take a look at your feedback this morning, Lameki Bakari is watching live. Anasema Karen pamoja sana. Thank you so much for waking up with us this morning. Pilipili Hoho anasema in. Robert Kieleweke anasema Eshikufu massive, well represented, Ndakasi mpaka Kieleweke. Asante sana. Na Christopher Atandi anasema kutoka Borangi Kanyambi Kisii, watching live from Borangi Kanyambi Kisii with my wife Lydia Kerubo hadi tamati. Have a good day. Have a good day too, Christopher. Daktari Yusuf Kenyeji anasema watching live. And finally Wycliffe Dungani anasema good morning. Good morning to you. All right, stay with us. You're watching Morning Cafe. We'll be back in a short while.
Our world is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's minds. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Aurora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the symptoms tomorrow. By the time you pick it or the time it is manifesting in you, probably will be there about 5 to 10 years.
The eye is the window to the rest of the body.
Don't forget to stay hydrated.
And of course, you at home, do take your water.
So the ultimate test is actually you check your urine. Your urine should be clear.
Clear like the water.
Yes. Should be able to see the other side of the urine. If your urine is colored or has changed color, you cannot see the other side, then you have not taken enough water.
Don't forget regular health checkups. Early detection saves lives.
I want the message be, we can prevent cervical cancer. We prevent cervical cancer in several ways. You have young girls and even somebody who's above that age, you can pay at least every 3 years. Somebody should have a pap smear done.
If you are 40, 45, 50, going upwards, once a year, please go see a doctor. Yeah, it's just for normal routine maintenance.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwa watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa maarifa, mikakati na hadithi za kukuza azma yako.
For me to succeed, I have to fight.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30.
Our world is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's minds. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create.
Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up.
When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
For comprehensive information and education on your health, Body Garage is here.
Don't allow anyone to pluck out your good tooth as long as it is strong and stable.
Cancer doesn't start today and you get the symptoms tomorrow. By the time you pick it or the time it is manifesting in you, probably will be there about 5 to 10 years.
The eye is the window to the rest of the body.
Don't forget to stay hydrated.
And of course, you at home do take your water.
So the ultimate test is actually you check your urine. Your urine should be clear.
Clear like the water?
Yes. Should be able to see the other side of the urine. If your urine is colored or has changed color, you cannot see the other side, then you have not taken enough water.
Don't forget regular health checkups. Early detection saves lives.
I want the message be, we can prevent cervical cancer. We prevent cervical cancer in several ways. You have young girls and even somebody who's above that age, you can pay at least every 3 years. Somebody should have a pap smear done.
If you are 40, 45, 50 going upwards, once a year, please go see a doctor. Yeah, it's just for normal routine maintenance.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa maarifa, mikakati na hadithi za kukuza azma yako.
For me to succeed, I have to fight.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30.
Every Friday kwenye magazeti tutakuwa tunajiunga rasmi msikilizaji na Team TV 47. Team TV 47 watakuwa wanajiunga nasi kila Friday as usual in the morning kwenye magazeti. Leo Fred Ndimuli hayuko studioni, so we have a lady in the studio. Please introduce yourself, ma'am.
My name is Anne Odida. I'm very happy to be hanging out with the big boys this morning. How are you guys?
Fine, thank you. Anne Odida, can you speak Swahili?
Tuko Kiswahili. Unatuchanganya.
He's Anne Odida. I'm very happy to be Kiswahili.
Mbona unageuza tone ya kuongea?
Anne Odida, good morning.
Good morning.
Uko salama?
Uko fresh.
Umecheki magazeti leo?
Absolutely.
Kwenye gazeti la The Standard wanasema a disturbed nation. A disturbed nation. The Anglican Church has torn into Kenya Kwanza administration, accusing it of hiding behind statistics while wananchi remain trapped in economic despair. Wanasema kwamba wanatoa statistics, wanatoa numbers zinaonyesha vizuri, lakini mwananchi wa kawaida anazidi kuteseka tu. Kulingana na kanisa la Kianglikana pale.
Actually, according to the Infotrack survey. Najua mnataka niongee Kiswahili lakini pia
yes, no, it's okay. Endelea tu. Tunaelewa.
All right. I understand that is also in line with the Infotrack survey, which of course is that around 57% of Kenyans are not happy with how the country is headed. Lakini tukiangalia kuna gazeti ya jana, we were talking about, and it was saying that Kenyans are also losing faith in the church. So where the church is coming in to try and regain that public trust is also a question that I think I'm going to pose to my panel today. Because if 57% of them say that the country is not headed in the right direction, and they cite a lot of things here, taxes, global factors, government policies, and of course corruption as well, then where do they stand as the youth in regards to how the country is headed? Na tunakumbuka pia Wednesday kulikuwa na ile Tifa poll. Nasema kuna lack of trust inapotea pale kwa these ruling parties, which UDA is of course leading. We have the DCP at third, The second is ODM at 13%. So where do the youth stand with all this?
Very important conversation hapo umeleta kuhusiana na kanisa pia. Unasema kwamba Wakenya pia wameanza ku lose trust kwa kanisa. Kwamba church yenyewe pia Wakenya hawana imani nayo sana. So Wakenya hawana imani na kanisa, Wakenya hawana imani pia na uongozi wao.
Yaani Kenya, imani ya Wakenya inapungua kila pahali.
Kila pahali.
Because kuja kuangalia pia katika upande wa siasa pale vile unakuta kwamba ushawishi huko katika UDA, lakini ushawishi umepungua katika ODM.
It's true.
Maana ODM ni chama ambacho kilikuwa na ushawishi mkubwa sana hapa nchini Kenya.
Kweli.
Lakini ambacho chama ambacho kimeanza hivi majuzi tu ambacho ni DCP kimepiku. ODM katika ushawishi hapa nchini Kenya.
Kinakaribia.
Inakaribia.
Maana niliona ODM wako 13%, DCP wako 9%.
9% pale vile. So wanakaribia tena zaidi. At the same time pia Wakenya pia wanapoteza imani na kanisa.
Ndio.
It's very serious by the way. Maana unajua tena Mkenya miaka yake yote amekuwa akijua pale ambapo anaanza pata kitulizo.
Ndio.
Anaanza pata ile faraja. Ni kanisani.
Ni kanisani.
So kama atapoteza imani na kanisa atakimbilia wapi?
Na kanisa ni wapi ilifikia Wakenya wakaanza kupoteza imani na kanisa? At what point ndio Wakenya walianza kupoteza imani na kanisa? Is it right now ama ni miaka ya kitambo kidogo?
Na ni kumaanisha kwamba ukianza kupoteza imani na kitu haukipendelei tena. Ni nini hiki? Wakenya hawakipendelei tena kuhusiana na makanisa yetu.
Na ukiangalia katika masuala ya siasa pale katika DCP na ODM, manake UDA inaongoza. Iko karibu na 16%. Alafu ODM inafuata katika 13%. DCP iko katika 9%. Kumbuka DCP ni chama ambacho kimevumbuliwa mwaka huu.
Exactly.
So ukiangalia hapa unaona Mwashumbe kwamba ODM ambayo ilikuwa ni upinzani huenda ikawa nafasi yake inachukuliwa na UDA. Mwenelewa? Manake kama ingekuwa bado ODM imekatalia katika upinzani, huenda ikawa labda ingetangazwa kama bado kwa sasa hivi inaongoza. DCP ambayo ilikuwa haijulikani kabisa mwaka huu inachukua kutoka kwa ODM kwa sababu ODM imeingia katika serikali
pale vile.
Inachukua nafasi ya upinzani.
Na hivi pia inakueleza namna gani? Manake DCP ni chama kuja kuangalia kiongozi wake.
Ndio.
Hayuko associated na mlima. So inakwambia nini pia kuhusiana pia na maybe kura za mlima na wenye mlima.
Unashuku kwamba DCP maybe haina enough weight kule Mount Kenya region?
No, iko na weight.
Iko nayo.
Iko na weight. I'm talking about iko na weight. Ndio maana kwa hivi sasa naulizia tukiwa tunakwenda katika uchaguzi wa 2027 inaashiria kitu gani kuhusiana na kura za mlima? Lakini tuachane na pale vile. Odida, unafikiri ni kwa nini watu wanapoteza imani na kanisa?
Nafikiri swala hili lilianza hasa pale during the Gen Z protest when the church was accused of being so quiet in addressing these issues that Kenyans were raising. And this is including abductions. Unajua kwa muda mrefu sana walikuwa wamekashifu kanisa kwa kunyamaza sana. So I think these issues came up when we were trying to talk to the youth and ask them, why do you feel like you do not have much faith in the church? And they cite this, this silence from the church as well, from major issues as to why they do not trust in the church. And we remember that during the 2022, the period to the 2022 general election, this is the card or the path that President William Ruto rode on, which he's still riding on as we're going into 2027. So in as much as the church is being blamed for not really meeting or being the unifying factor between Kenyans and the government, then if we are heading into 2027 and President William Ruto is still riding on that same path, then how are they trying to rebuild this trust from the public and towards the church?
Another interesting story, Odida, on Daily Nation. Whistleblower on SHA fraud loses job.
Huyu anaitwa Andrew Rotich, and it's quite funny because I am a health reporter. Huyu Andrew Rotich yule ambaye unearth some of the ghost hospitals na zile pesa ambazo zinarushwa kule that we cannot account for. So it says that even as much as Rotich alikuja akatoa audit akasema there's 1, 2, 3 is happening in the health sector. This needs to be investigated because we have money going into these hospitals. We have a patient being treated for numerous diseases that haziko hana. Then where is the health sector headed to? Kumbuka kwamba Afya House inajulikana kama Mafia House. So if we have somebody like Rotich trying to bring these things outside and try to also put corruption on the spot and to also be at the forefront of fighting corruption, then tunaona hapa kwamba yeye alikuwa anaitwa he has a role.
Yes.
Which is quite very important. I've missed it. Like one of the people who does the audits from the Ministry of Health, which is quite important. Then sahi anakuja anapoteza kazi.
Appointed the Deputy Director Forensic Audit and Risk Assurance.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You see how critical that is for that, whatever he already did, just unearthing what is happening in the health sector. Then it begs the question, what are the whistleblowers in the country safe enough? Are they in a position to still hold their jobs and positions if they unearth anything or corruption happening in any sector?
Mimi najiuliza swali. These are the people that we need.
Yes.
To make sure kwamba at least we are stopping corruption in this country.
Sindio?
Lakini the same people ambao sisi tunahitaji kama mwananchi, yonekana kuna watu ambao hawahitaji.
Manake kuna system mpya wanasema kwamba it was created ili kuweza kushika hizi ghost hospitals.
Yes.
You know, na hii system imekuwa created na Rotich amesaidia kuleta hizi ghost, na nikaona paka bwana CS akiwa na report akipeleka katika DCI. So I don't know who is this person who doesn't want Rotich to continue with what he's doing. Because nafikiri serikali ya Kenya Kwanza ikiongozwa na rais, ikiongozwa na bwana CS, wote wako mstari wa mbele ku make sure kwamba ino system inakamata hizi ghost hospitals na hatutumii pesa vibaya. So who is this one person who does not want Rotich to do what he's doing?
That is the big question. Ama vipi kumaanisha kwamba amekanyaga pahali ambapo hakufai kukanyaga.
Otherwise, asante sana.
Asanteni sana for hosting me. It's been an honor. Nasikia ni kama nikae hapa nifanye my show from here.
Endelea. Ana sisi tunafurahia jamani.
Haya, enjoy your show.
Thank you so much. Na please next Friday pia njoo. Friday ndio mule asikuje tena. Umebadilisha studio imependeza.
Asante.
Na uko smart by the way.
You look amazing. Smart. Thank you so much. That's TV47 watch by the way. Zimetimia mwendo wa saa 1 kasoro dakika 10 saa za Afrika ya Mashariki hapa ndani ya Bonge.
All right, the Jubilee Party is set to hold the National Delegates Conference today, where, of course, it is expected to reveal, among other things, their presidential candidate for the 2027 general election. We have that story here at TV47. Let's have it.
After a bruising battle in the courts and on the streets to reclaim control of his Jubilee Party, former President Uhuru Kenyatta is set to assert his full authority at the party's helm this Friday. All eyes are on him as he charts the party's future, with high expectations around his much-anticipated political direction within the United Opposition Alliance, where the search for presidential flag-bearer remains a delicate balancing act.
For 3 years, we've been bogged in the courts. We are finally free. And he has finally an opportunity to tell us as a party what direction do we take. What does he want the party to do going forward?
The Special National Delegates Conference, to be held in Nairobi, is also expected to formally endorse former Interior CS Dr. Fred Matiang'i as the party's presidential candidate. The move has drawn sharp criticism from former DP Rigathi Gachagua, who views Jubilee's revival as a direct threat to his influence in the Mount Kenya region.
The most important thing is that for Kenyans and members of Jubilee to know their party is back and available for them.
The party is also expected to make key leadership changes, with Matiang'i anticipated to take over the leadership mantle from Kenyatta. On Tuesday this week, Matiang'i chaired a consultative meeting at a city hotel, attended by Party Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni and former MPs. To avoid legal complications and any perception of endorsing Matiang'i's candidacy, Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has opted to stay away from the special NDC. Both Kalonzo and Matiang'i are considered frontrunners to fly the opposition's flag against President William Ruto in the 2027 poll, with Gachagua reportedly leaning in favor of Matiang'i. Apul Kamau, TV47.
All right, People Daily talks about Jubilee Party at crossroads as a powerful NEC convenes. The NDC, as we've just heard from Apollo Kamau, is expected to start today, and political outreach meets over stand on decision former CS Fred Matiang'i as presidential candidate. My panel is already in studio, a panel of young women and men to help us just talk about and unpack everything happening in the political landscape this week and, of course, as of yesterday and what they expect today. Karibuni sana. Frank, I'll just start with you as a political analyst. What do you make of this? That story that we've just heard, the Jubilee NDC expected today. We do understand that Matiang'i has been in the united opposition, something that Jubilee Party has distanced itself from the united opposition. So if he is possibly the candidate that is going to be fronted by the Jubilee Party to steer the Jubilee Party forward ahead of the 2027 general election, then what does that mean to the united opposition from where you sit?
Thank you so much. My name is Frank. You look at the political setup of the opposition, and you realize that the opposition, you look at the other time, everyone wants to be a presidential candidate. And Matiang'i being there and looking at his friendship with the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, it is quite obvious that Jubilee Party, it's a party that is trying to revive itself, but its growth has been having challenges, court issues and all that. So, for instance, since the former President Uhuru Kenyatta had a meeting with President William Ruto the other time in State House, I think it changed how people used to look at Jubilee Party, because it's brought in, people think that Jubilee Party it's somehow affiliated to the government, but it's just that it's not coming out clear. So we are looking up to that NDC that is being held today, but it's quite obvious that you look at the Fred Matiang'i as an individual. Yes, he has influence, but I think he's still in fear. He has not stepped forward. Like, you look at him, you feel like there's someone who is still planning everything for him. There's someone who is still using him. It's not that free man. We've not seen him traversing the country and maybe selling his candidature. So it means you look at even his political party, it's not that active. So as far as maybe Jubilee Party may think he's the right candidate, but that will be just a walk in the park for the sitting government. Yes.
So do you see a possibility where Jubilee would come back at the top? Because we're looking at a TIFA report survey which was released this Wednesday, and we'll take a look at it in depth later on. Jubilee is trailing behind. DCP imekuja ikasurpass Jubilee Party just at 9% position 3. So if you're talking about Jubilee has lost its momentum, do you see a point in time where it will come back, perhaps maybe after this NDC, where we'll now be talking about Jubilee also being the voice that is hard march at the Mount Kenya region as it stands? DCP is taking over.
I think looking at the political structure of our country and the dynamics, you feel that Jubilee is just ran out of time, because you look at the setup. For me, for Jubilee to be a strong party again, it must collide with another political party. If, for example, the opposition leaders, they could come together and join their parties and come up with one alliance, that could be very strong. But for instance, all the Jubilee party and DCP, because you look at DCP party leader, you look at the Jubilee party leader, there is some mountain politics that everyone wants to show that they are still strong in the mountain. And I think that is killing the whole part of Jubilee Party and even the DCP, because you look at when DCP was formed, it was very active. But you look at the activities that has been going on in the country, there are some strategic places that those people are always targeted. We've not seen them moving throughout the whole country. And that's the same thing to Jubilee. Reviving Jubilee, to me, it's very difficult until or unless it joins with another political party.
All right. Sandra, you are the member of Young Captains ODM. Interesting, we'll be getting into that later on in the course of this show. But still speaking about Jubilee, do you agree with Frank Francis Okanga that Jubilee, reviving it, is just something that will be hard for the party itself, even ahead of its National Delegate Conference? And do you perhaps think that this conference will be the reason as to them coming back up stronger? You know, right now they are at around 5% according to the TIFA report. What do you think?
Thank you very much for giving me this chance. My name is Juma Sandra from the Cooperative University and a member of Young Captain ODM. Sorry. One thing that I'd like to say is that Jubilee has lost its momentum, and it will be very, very difficult for it to come up again. Not unless the Jubilee members to form a coalition with strong political parties like ODM, and they form a strong party, and by that I think at least they'll be somewhere. But if not that, I don't think it has lost its momentum. I really don't.
All right, so you're talking about the possibility of Jubilee coming together with ODM to form a formidable party that will lead them forward towards 2027. We do remember that 2022 they were together as Azimio, but then they went their separate ways because of course, issues of feeling betrayed and lack of trust. So if they would ride on the same terrain again in 2027, is that something that can be in question for 2027 really?
Yeah, thank you. I'll say it will depend, because you see, we ODM members, we have principles, and if a given political party doesn't align with our principles, definitely we'll part ways, and we might allow them to, we collide, and then if they adhere to the principles that we have as a party, I think we can work as a team and see where it goes. Yeah.
Christine, do you see a possibility of Jubilee or ODM taking back Jubilee, of course, after they left that whole Azimio la Umoja coalition, and then going back to form a formidable coalition to lead them towards 2027? And we're talking about Jubilee still trailing behind, just behind DCP, which is a new party, gaining momentum and taking up space in the Mount Kenya region. Do you see a possibility of ODM taking back Jubilee, and what will that mean?
Thank you. I believe Matiang'i is a very central figure, so I think it was a good move here. But I still feel like they are lagging quite behind. In terms of them getting back to the spotlight, I think they are quite behind, because I feel like the candidate, as per chosen right now, it means that he has to position himself and also garner support, not just from political parties, not just from not just nationally, but also ethnically, because I feel like, as you mentioned with DCP, I feel like he would have to convince a lot of other different ethnic societies as to why they should be voting for him. So I feel like, as much as it's a good step, I still feel like it's going to take a lot to get Jubilee back to a place of maybe second, but first, it's really going to take a lot. Yeah.
Now you're talking about we're still voting within the ethnic blocks. That means tribalism still plays a big role in how elections are done and how leaders are chosen. The Gen Zs are at the forefront of calling out tribalism and voting from tribal lines. And if you're talking about still voting within the ethnic lines, then are we really getting away from this anytime soon?
I feel like as a country, as much as we really are trying really hard to get away from ethnic voting, I feel like it still plays a very big role in our nation, I feel like it would be naive to assume that it doesn't take part into how we vote as a nation. But I believe as youths, the most important thing is coming together as one, as a unit, because I believe that we have the biggest population in the country. 70% of our population is below 30, I believe, and that is the bigger population. So I believe if we are not divided by ethnics, we really could decide how our politics go and how our politics move forward as per now. So I believe as Gen Zs in the nation, because I feel like currently politically we are really engaging. If we can really vote, show up, register and show up and vote without being affected by the ethnic basis, I feel like we would really be able to bring the change and cross that gap. Because I feel like the question of ethnicity is quite impactful in our nation. It's something that we're really trying hard to fight. So if we have a population that is able to cross that gap, maybe we are able to see that we are able to vote differently without relying on that so much. Yeah.
All right. Nancy Wangari, you are a part of the DCP and you're the youth leader in Kipiripiri. And this question of the Jubilee NDC, Matiang'i is part of the united opposition. I remember during his homecoming, he made it clear that a lot of people are still trying to court him into their parties, but he has not really just come up with where he wants to stand. Then if he's still with the united opposition, then where does that leave you guys as members of the united opposition?
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Nancy Wangari. One thing that I believe in is that this is a possible move, and in case they agree, that is, in case they agree to follow up and to join, to make the whole bond and move in, I believe it's a possible move, and they will revive themselves. I'm sure if our reader would say, he clearly stated that they will all agree into whoever they'll choose, and they will all agree and support that person. Not basis of ethnics or anything, but politically, that person will stand out and bring a change. That's all we want as a country. Politically, not necessarily in terms of ethnicity, where you come from, tribalism. We all focus on what we really want to get as a country. So I believe it's a possible move if we make good strategies and we focus. Remember, even UDA had a strategy. We didn't think that would really happen. They came up with a strategy, and how they planned it, they were able to convince the nation, and that's how they ended up in the government. I think this is possible. Yes.
All right. Still looking at that, all parties from the united opposition have declared, their interest in unseating President William Ruto come 2027. David Maraga, Kalonzo Musyoka, Matiang'i himself. PLP party leader Martha Karua is also holding NDC today. And we also have, of course, your party leader, Rigathi Gachagua, who have come up to say they want to unseat President William Ruto come 2027. And the possibility of united opposition reaching a consensus and coming up with one, candidate to, represent the united opposition. Do you see that as a possibility of their unity still remaining intact if a consensus is reached?
Yes. I feel like they will still remain united. Because one is that the main focus is to make the nation, to rebuild and to restructure once again. So I feel that is very possible. Yes.
All right. Omoyo, what do you think of this NDC, and what do you expect today? Do you feel like Matiang'i being fronted by the Jubilee party to lead the party towards 2027 general election will again give Jubilee, the weight it had in the road to, say, the 2013 general election and then the 2022 general election as well?
Thank you, Anne. My name is Omoyo Maranga, strategic communication advisor, UPA party. UPA party is a big party back in Kisiland. And this is the party that has created Fred Okengo Matiang'i. We gave him the mother of all homecoming when he came from New York. We brought him home, and all of you can testify that there's never been a grand homecoming like this in recent history. And now we are surprised that Jubilee wants to take over our baby as UPA party. We took care of this baby for 9 months, and now Jubilee party is desiring to have their name on the birth certificate of this baby. And we as a party in UPA, we're expecting nothing today more than just an endorsement of Fred Okengo Matiang'i from Jubilee, that he will be, that they endorse his candidature. But we do not expect him, we do not expect Jubilee Party to come and seize our baby and take over our own kid that we have brought for 9 months and labored in with a lot of pain. What Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i, we understand. Fred Okengo Matiang'i is like a beautiful girl who everybody wants to court, and we have no problem with that. Jubilee is one of the suitors, and what we are telling Jubilee is, come with your fragrance, anoint him as you want, and let us all make this beautiful candidate. But Matiang'i belongs to the United Progressive Alliance Party. This party is strongly, especially in Kisiland. And let me tell you the danger of having Jubilee for Matiang'i. He will rub off shoulders with DCP, which is in Mount Kenya. We believe that Mount Kenya is a big ethnic bloc that we need to support Matiang'i. And we do not want to look like we are fighting, Dr. Matiang'i is fighting DCP and His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua at the mountain. So taking Jubilee, which has its own share of burden. Jubilee has 10 years history of inflated projects. Jubilee has a history of some level of history that Kenyans do not wish to associate themselves with. As much as they did some good, a lot of good things, there are things that we now need to bring Matiang'i with newness of life, so that when he negotiates with a Wiper, with the PNU, with the DAPK, they all consider him as a new fresh blood that will take Kenya forward. But one thing I can tell you from today's Jubilee NDC, we expect Jubilee Party to endorse the candidature of Matiang'i, just like the way as UPA we have endorsed Matiang'i, just like the way PNU has endorsed Dr. Matiang'i, just as DAPK has endorsed Dr. Matiang'i. But taking our baby and making him the party leader or deputy party leader or whatever position they want to give him at Jubilee is a good gesture. But lo and behold, I can tell you, we the young people of Kenya know what Jubilee did, and we do not want to associate with it. And candidate Matiang'i is a very clean man, a man who has performed. Everybody wants Matiang'i. In fact, from last year's demonstration, it was we the young people who said, Matiang'i, leave New York, we want you in the suburbs of Nairobi. Leave New York, we want you to bring progress in Narok. And he listened to our call. But to come and don a tainted jacket that has, marks of things that have made Kenyans feel pain historically will be a very bad political disaster.
Perhaps that is something that Sandra do not agree with. I've seen her, amekataa, when you're saying that Fred Matiang'i is a very clean man. She was
Fred
nodding.
Matiang'i is as antiseptic as uric pharmacy. He is as Caesar's wife. And this is why. Let me tell her why Dr. Matiang'i is one of one in this nation. When we had an education crisis here in this country, the only person who made changes, in fact, she's a beneficiary of Matiang'i education. Maybe she's only aggrieved because of one or two things. But education, if you ask all stakeholders, parents, students, even policymakers at grassroots levels, they never have seen excellence as during Matiang'i. We listened to TV 47 because we moved from analog to digital, courtesy of who? Dr. Matiang'i. It was Dr. Matiang'i who ensured that the fiber cable that Kibaki had terminated at Mombasa is now in the last mile to your home village in Kadem, in Migori. It was Dr. Matiang'i, when he was in Interior, that flushed away all terrorists from our borders and beyond, and brought security from the remotest village to the city.
You do understand that his River Yala saga during his time is still in question?
Yes, there's a saga of River Yala, and the president he has asked the president, the current government, to do a public inquiry. Why are they not doing it? Because they know that he cannot be indicted.
Sandra, you want to say something about that?
Oh, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity. First of all, allow me to respectfully disagree with what my brother is saying. First of all, my brother, let me tell you that it has reached a point whereby we're not busy as youth. We're not busy with the grand opening that a leader is receiving. We are busy with a leader who wants to bring changes in this nation. If we're talking about grand openings, so someone landing in Kenya, there's no one in Kenya who has ever received a grand opening like His Excellency Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Right now, we are looking for a leader who can represent us. We don't want to talk about grand opening. Grand opening, even me, I can receive, but without something tangible that you're going to do to the nation, it won't make sense. Even if you're saying that people want him. Which people? We are the youths. Let's talk as youths.
Sandra, let me tell you. Let me respond to her. Okay. The grand homecoming of Matiang'i was received by millions of Kenyans. And I can tell you what she is trying to refer is to Baba while you were away in 2015. In fact, when you compare to Matiang'i's homecoming, Baba while you were away's homecoming pales into insignificance, because ours was peaceful, ours was people-centric, there was no chaos, there was no tear gas, because this is a man that people want to commemorate. Okay. And I want to ask her, Atieno, today ODM is launching ODM at 20 in Kisii. Why do you think they went to Kisii? So that they want to try and rub shoulders and see if the Kisii people are still in ODM. The Kisii people are not in the Orange Democratic Party anymore.
Frank,
not
you're
any of
from
our
the
members of parliament,
right?
Not any of our MCs that were elected on ODM
are on Sandra, finish up.
Okay, thank you. My brother is still repeating the same mistake that I'm trying to help him rectify. He's concentrating with the grand openings. We're not doing the comparison between the leaders who are receiving grand openings, because a lot of leaders are receiving that. Right now, as youths, we want a leader who can bring change in our nation. We're not talking about the tribal cards or tribal lines. We want someone who can bring change. Because if we're talking about those the grand openings, right now we are going to Kisii. It's not because we don't play tribal cards in ODM. We're trying to bring unity, to unite people. That's why we are going everywhere in the country. Yeah, my brother rectify on that.
All right, Christine, you are a youth advocate, and Sandra here is talking about you need a leader who can represent you. And I know that the Gen Zs and youth have also been at the forefront of calling out, these leaders that have been there, because now you want to face them out and bring in new leadership, the young energy, the energetic ones. But if you're talking about leaders who represent you, then where does that leave the youth? Do they have a chance, or do they stand a chance to represent you at the presidential level?
I think I'll first like to reflect on what our brother over there said. I think during the protests that we had, the Gen Z ones, there was a call for Dr. Matiang'i to actually, lead, which I would not like very clearly say where I lie with that, because I believe that we are a very political country, and sometimes I feel like we're going to be having such demonstrations, but someone will come in and try to push an agenda. So I'm not so sure if it was an agenda being pushed or it was the Gen Zs speaking for themselves, but as per now, I don't think we have a very particular leader that would say, yeah, we have a presidential leader as youths. And I feel like we are lagging behind in that sense. Because I feel like we have an issue of tokenism in our country and in our politics, whereby as much as we get leadership positions, it's not that much. And when we get those positions, mostly it is not for leadership purposes. We are not getting in there to be allowed to make policies. We're not getting in there to be allowed to sit in the decision-making tables. We are being invited to these places for decoration mostly. That is what I think. Because you find that they're going to pick 1, 2 leaders, you know, just to show us that we are having youths being initiated into leadership positions. But when it comes to making decisions, when it comes to really giving them the voice that matters, you find that that is where they draw the line. I feel like currently we have a lot of, yes, we have possible leaders, but they're really not stepping up. So I feel like the responsibility that we have right now is to really call for these people. Let us have someone that is going out there. Let us push for our own young people to stand out so that we can vote for them. Because I believe that, you see, at the end of the day, it's not just about having a young person leading. It is important that we have someone that is young and that knows what they are doing, that is going to bring real change. Because even if we have a young, because I think the reason we sometimes end up not having very well supported youth leaders is because they are not well groomed at the same time. Because even if we have youth leaders standing out and they're not groomed to lead accordingly and effectively, then we're not going to be doing any good for the country. So I believe that we need to have leaders that are well groomed, youths that know what they are doing, and youths that are not willing to be bought out. Because again, I feel like every time we have one that is well groomed, we have one that is upcoming, you know, they are going out there, we are supporting them, they are bought out. And then we go back to square one.
So you don't have somebody who can stand firm and stand on business as the youth?
That is how I feel.
All right. Then what needs to be done to strengthen that youth league? If at all, you know, you would front a presidential candidate and they were to be silenced, what would you need to stand firm and stand on business?
I feel like where we'd begin with would be us as youths. We need to be able to identify what we want. We need to be able to willingly and genuinely fight for what we want, because I feel like that is a place where it might seem a little bit faint, but it's a place where we mostly get lost, because we really come up with, this is what I want to do for my nation, this is what we want to do as youths, but then again we get at the forefront. The war seems like it's getting a little bit thicker, we get scared, we draw away, and then, or maybe we just join whoever we are trying to fight against. So I feel like as youths, what we need to do is come up with ways and means, especially if you are able to come up with, what do we call them? If you're able to come up with not strategies, but some sort of programs that are able to groom our youth to leadership. Because I feel like when someone comes up to be a leader, mostly they're coming up from a place of just figuring things out. They've no idea what they're getting into. They've no idea what politics is all about. Mostly, it's just drive and motivation. You know, a desire to change our nation, a desire to transform how things are. So I feel like we need to be able to groom our leaders, our young people to be leaders, so that we are able to have effective youth leaders.
All right, let's do a final round on this Matiang'i issue. And I was listening to Ndegwa Njiru, Nancy, sometime yesterday or the day before yesterday, and was saying that Matiang'i is a state project and opposition does not consider him an honest partner in the united opposition. Do you hold the same sentiments? And if you're talking about, there was a time, as Christine says it, that the youth were really behind Matiang'i, and we were wondering if at all that was, did you say sponsored? Or it was a move that was being pushed?
Yeah.
Where do you stand with the same sentiments that he could be a state project?
I feel like he is, yes. But all the same, we still stand out. If he agrees to join Jubilee, I feel like DCP will still stand out, and we'll still have a coalition of, we have other leaders in DCP. And all in all, we will have to select one leader among them who will stand out and strategize into our plans and leading the country. Yes.
All right. Frank, tukimalizia this particular segment, do you feel like the united opposition underestimate the intricacies of settling on one candidate for the 2027 presidential seat? And do you see the possibility really of them settling on that particular one candidate? Because everybody wants to stand out. DCP wants to stand out. Maraga wants to stand out. Matiang'i wants to stand out. Do you see the possibility of that really happening?
You know, we are having the weakest opposition ever in our country. We are having people who are confused with no agenda.
True.
The only agenda is only one term. So one term, so what? You know, we are having people who, all of them, want to be leaders. In fact, I can say they're just sycophants. Because in the first state, you look at, they're always, they're always just stamping. And you not find an individual person going in a certain area, selling their name. They will always wait for each other. For a good example is when they impeached and to go on deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua was in the US. They were not rallies. They waited for him. That tells you that in that opposition, only Gachagua has a say in terms of the capital and everything. But one thing I can advise the united opposition, let them borrow a leaf from what we had the other time, One Kenya Alliance. Remember the likes of Gideon Moi, the likes of Mudavadi, the likes of Wetangula, the likes of all that. The only strong candidate in opposition at the moment, and the hottest, hot cake, is Kalonzo Musyoka. Even the government knows that. Yeah, even the government knows that.
So everybody is trying
you cannot
to
tell me,
take
you
up
cannot
space,
tell
right?
me that you are going to. In fact, you on the ballot paper, Matiang'i and Ruto will win in the early in the morning.
Omoyo, are you coming together as you know, the people of the united opposition to unseat President William Ruto, to send him home, or to seek an alternative government? What is the goal exactly?
First, Mr. Okanga, I want to correct you that this is the most efficient and united opposition ever in the Republic of Kenya. This is the most vibrant, the only opposition that has many brains. Not that one single individual has the brain of all the people. This is the most decorated opposition ever. And he is asking us, why are we saying one term? We don't have an agenda, we are only saying one term. We are saying one term because of the increased unemployment in this country. We are saying one term because of the high tax pressure on our people. We are saying one term because of the slow infrastructure development that has left our rural areas with limited access to market. We are saying one term because of the shenanigans. We are saying one term because of the lack of the desire to fight corruption in this country. And I want to talk to Sandra here, the captain for ODM. ODM has paled into insignificance, and they do not want to accept the modern reality. This is the reality, that the Kenya we want going forward is not going to be led by ODM. ODM, they are asking us, what is your agenda? And then I'm telling you, Sandra, this. ODM, we already know your candidate. We know your candidate is the one that is not dealing with the SHA inefficiency.
How do you
We know that
They
your
have not-
ODM,
they have not
you are
come
the
out to say
candidate
their candidate
that
or
is
Moi.
abetting corruption. We know ODM's candidate. You will see ODM's candidate today. They will be in Kisii celebrating 20 years. You will hear how they will praise this regime that has abducted the young people, including those that are in this panel.
You know, Moyo, to wind it up for us,
Miss Anne, let me come to your question.
I'll reiterate what Junet Mohammed said.
Yes.
If you are in confusion, refer to what Raila Odinga said.
Okay,
on Sunday.
and that's the problem with ODM, because they confidently say that they are cows who will say all the ODM parties. But Anne, let me finish this. Anne, let me say this.
Okay.
We have the most vibrant opposition that will remain united until August the 8th of
I will let
2028.
Christine react to that. Now that everybody here is, you know, different, broad-based government and the rest are in the united opposition. I don't know where you stand, Christine, but perhaps do you have faith in the united opposition? Because currently, according to the TIFA report released on Wednesday, a big chunk of the population have lost trust in the government of the day. How about the united opposition? Do you have faith in it?
I'd say that as per for the current government, I think we all know where we stand as the youth. For the united
Where do you
opposition, We feel like they have failed us in a lot of ways, and mostly in the case of abducting our fellow youths, you know, and most of them just dying in their hands. I think that is the biggest and the saddest thing. As per the united opposition, I feel like what we need really is to hear what they bring to the table, because I think as youths right now, we just don't want to vote for anybody. We don't want to vote for you because we know you. We want to vote for you because of what you're selling us, and not just selling us, what you're really going to do. And I feel like if we get a chance to integrate into the decision-making process, as youths, we are not just supposed to be giving our votes for free. We should be able to bargain. This is our chance. As we are having these oppositional parties, this is our chance to actually bargain for what we want. In terms policy, in terms the digital economy, in terms agribusiness, in terms everything. This is our time to really bargain. We just don't want to support because, you know, you have a big following or you've been groomed well. What we really need right now is a party or a leadership that is able to give us what we really want to grow as a country and as youths.
Nancy, do you really have faith in the united opposition? I know you are part of the united opposition, but looking at the leaders in this coalition that is there, if you're looking at Kalonzo Musyoka, for instance, he has been in power positions for around 40 years. Looking at the DAPK leader, around 30 years, Rigathi Gachagua, around 8 years from the time he was Madeira Member of Parliament. Then if at all they held, these positions during these times and they were in power and there's no concrete, evidence to show for it, there was no much change during that time. And what gives you confidence that when you give them the mandate to, steer the country forward and to make changes, to bring changes, then they will indeed do that?
One thing I would like to say is, remember all these people that we have currently in the government also have been there. Only that they were not given the position to showcase what they did until the point whereby they have been given the moment. And they have not been able to showcase what they have. So the belief in us is we are already in a digital world whereby the youths have read the country into showing what exactly we want. This is a digitized citizens. These are empowered people who already know their rights, who already know what they want exactly from the government, from the leaders around. So this is what we are echoing to them, and that is why we believe in them, because they are reasoning to us. All we want is a listening ear. When they listen to us, this is what we want. This is exactly what we want. That is why we are entrusting them with the leadership in our country.
Do you feel like they're really listening to you, or they're riding on the wave that you as a youth are riding on? What do you think?
I've always said this, Anne. We youth, we fail a lot and we don't learn. We have to unlearn so many things. For we youth to be able to move that system, we cannot remove that system while away, while out of the system. We must first get into the system. We are lying to ourselves that we can now maybe broom our fellow youth and vote him as a president. No, we are lying to ourselves. We must first get into that system. This is a system that was introduced in 1963 when Kenya had first government. For us to get to remove that system, because it's a system that is eating all of us. For us to get to remove that system, we must get into the system. And we are only going to get into that system if those youth who are feeling that they have ambitions of maybe being leaders, let them vie in 2027, let them be voted in. By 2032, at least we are having half of the youth in leadership positions. That way we can be able to say that now we can remove the system. But what is happening now, we youth, we are being used. You see, we are having very active and vibrant youth leaders, like my good friend here, Omoyo. But if it's being used the way it's being used, if all the youth are going to be used the way you see, these leaders, they're not fools. They know we are very active people. That's why they call us. They put us into those leadership positions, like the one he's holding in UPA. You know, he talked of Fred Matiang'i being a very good person, but his governor, Nyaribo, is a failed person. The county is in crisis. They are having 2 county assemblies. And his party leader is telling us that he can lead this nation. He cannot settle the county, only one county.
I cannot allow that to go through. Nyamira is one of the best counties.
It's very wise.
I want to invite you to come to Nyamira, my brother.
Let him finish, because I'll give you a chance.
I knew this was very hot. I knew. When I said Mr. Moyo, I knew this is going to be very hot. But the fact is, we the youth, we must stand out, but in a conclusive mood. If we are not in a conclusive mood, we are going to be used in 2027. Because we are having ideas, yes, we are having everything. That's why most of these political strategists and maybe those working in communicative departments, they are youth. Because of what? They know we are very active, we have those ideas. Because we cannot use those ideas in our own, they use the ideas. That's why they are killing us.
And allow me to respond.
In 60 seconds, because I want us to
just
move
1
to
minute.
other stories.
And Mr. Okanga has made allegations here that I'm just being used by Fred Okengo Matiang'i. I'm not being used by Dr. Matiang'i on anything. I'm in upper party by right and by merit as the communication advisor for that party, and we own Dr. Matiang'i. He has also mentioned that our party leader, Governor Nyaribo for Nyamira, has failed. I want to invite you, my brother, to Nyamira County, one of the best decorated, well-performing counties. I know you are used to being here in the city where things have failed. I want to invite you to a county where there is vibrancy and things are working. Come to Nyamira County. And let me tell you this. Mr. Okanga has refused to accept that we young people can actually deliver at high levels of political, progress. Though I want to bring a new point this way. In Kenya, there is actually no constituency called the young people. There's no actually a youth type of constituency. The constituency that we have are people who are aggrieved by unemployment, people who are aggrieved by underemployment, people who feel that they are overtaxed, people that feel that there is no enough industrialization in this country. That is the constituency. And so if you are a leader that you want to appeal to young people of Kenya, do not come and approach us, oh, you young people, and start dancing and making moves. It's not about the dance. It is about how you are going to expand our digital economy so that we get employment. And there's no one, there's absolutely no one who espouses those values that will take Kenya forward than Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i.
All right.
Who is our leader at the UPA party.
All right. Allow me to the Jubilee NDC ahead of today to know that. But the question of the day on social media, as Jubilee's National Delegates Conference unfolds with retired President Uhuru Kenyatta back at the helm and Dr. Fred Matiang'i tipped as a possible presidential flag bearer, what political impact do you think this will have on Mount Kenya and the 2027 race? Interact with us on our Facebook page at TV47 Kenya and of course on X as well at TV47 Digital. To sample a few feedback here, Kafu Kafu anasema DCP is king, Jubilee ni kachama kadogo in the Mount Kenya region. Abdallah Sula anasema Kalonzo tosha, Mwai wa Mwago, why Mount Kenya? I thought it's about the nation. Kumbe it's about Jubilee regaining its ground Ukumlima. Too bad, DCP is our new home and Rigiji is the king. All right. Njogu wa Muthe anasema Uhuru is welcome to work with the united opposition in whatever form or shape that will deliver the nation from Kaungonomics. Paul Jr. anasema Kalonzo ni majimaji. Kalonzo is a serious chameleon. Babaki Jasli, my brother from Jubilee Party, then you never watched the NASA coalition or you don't know the meaning of united. Who is the brother? Omoyo. Is it Omoyo or Frank? All right. ODM, Paul Jr. anasema ODM is the party, you're talking nonsense, and tell a young man to tell us he's thinking of way forward. And following from Homa Bay headquarters and the kind of development happening in Homa Bay now, we are in broad-based government to stay. And Kevin Azuna Sago anasema tuned in from Kayole, Soweto, tell Mr. Frank, friend of mine, one-term song is unstoppable.
Exactly.
And still on that, I asked a question about the united opposition. I've been told to ask, Homa Bay people are saying that, united, broad-based government is here to stay. But 37% of Kenyans, according to TIFA report on Wednesday, said that the broad-based government pact is not serving the people, but serving the leaders in the broad-based government. Then how do you respond to that, Sandra, as a member of the broad-based government?
Thank you very much for giving me this chance. I'll say, first of all, that's not true. Let's not believe in rumors or the things that are being speculated on.
So you do disagree with the TIFA report?
Disagreeing with that. Because
is it because it's not working in your favor?
Exactly. Not really.
Exactly.
Not really.
Okay. You can.
Not really. Because people are trying to say that the government are only empowering counties that are supporting them, which is not true. They're trying to use my county as an example. That is Homa Bay County. I'll support that. I'll disagree with that because my governor is working, and it's not because we have collided. We are working together with the government. That's just her own work because he's a good leader. And people should stop that notion that the government is only supporting the people whom are supporting them. That's not true.
All right,
those ones are rumors and propaganda.
But you do agree that
That need to be
60% of
stopped.
Kenyans do not support the government?
Sorry?
You do agree. TIFA also reports that 60% of Kenyans do not support the government. Do you agree?
Yeah,
with
that's
that?
true.
That's true, but you don't agree with.
But I don't.
With it that 37% of Kenyans say that broad-based government.
I don't.
Is only
I disagree.
The government.
I disagree with the people saying that the government is only supporting.
Sandra, really?
Relax. I finish what I'm saying.
Give her the chance.
Relax.
To finish.
It's my chance, please.
Proceed.
I'm disagreeing with that because you see, people have this notion that the government, it's like the government is only supporting the people from the Nyanza, which is not true. Let's give credit where credits needs to be awarded. The president is also trying. Let's not chant every time that one term, and these are the people, they don't have agendas. We want true leaders.
We have agendas.
You people don't have
We
agendas.
have
They're
agendas.
trying
We have the agenda
You
to
will
kill
tell us of your
unemployment.
agendas.
Relax, it's
Move
my
forward.
turn.
Let's
It's
hear
my
from
turn.
you. Let's
It's
finish
my
up,
turn.
Sandra.
It's my turn. These other people, they don't have agendas. One thing that, okay, even us, there are areas that truthfully speaking, needs to be rectified.
Exactly.
And we are not happy with. Relax, it's my turn, bro. It's my turn. There are areas that needs to be rectified. Yeah, that one I agree. Even as a member of ODM, I agree that there are areas that needs to be rectified because no man is perfect. But we should stop this notion that one term. Where are the agendas of other people? Because every time I listen to these other people or position, the thing that they are shouting off is that they are trying to play tribal cards. The things that needs to be stopped, these things that should have been, we had stopped long time ago. Right now we are focusing with leaders who can bring changes, and given time, who knows, even the current regime can bring changes.
No, it cannot.
Relax,
It has
bro.
shown. We have 3 years of
Relax.
3 years of
Give me
lack
time.
of
It's
delivery
my
of service
time.
to our people.
It's my time. It's my time.
Okay, we'll close it at that. We'll close
time.
at that. Let's move forward to the issue of IEBC. And IEBC yesterday said that it will not conduct boundary review. It mentioned something about time being not on their side anymore, that the commission would require between 2 to 3 years to conduct such an exercise, boundary delimitation. You have that story here at TV47. Let's have it.
Appearing before the National Assembly's Committee on the Implementation of the Constitution, CIOC, IEBC Chairperson Erastus Edekon stated that it may be difficult to delimitate electoral boundaries within the time remaining before the next general election. He emphasized that the process requires adequate preparation. Edekon's statement sparked concerns among lawmakers who raised fears of potential litigation that could interfere with upcoming polls. The Karoli-led committee urged the IEBC to seek further advice from experts on the legal risks involved should the commission fail to meet constitutional requirements.
Come back with a proposal. And I would encourage you not to consider the NADCO report because you're an independent commission. And if there's an appearance that you're being influenced by another political process outside, again, we open ourselves to challenges.
We need close to minimum 2 to 3 years
to undertake this fairly technical and actually also emotional exercise, because we are required by law, the law that you just the Parliament recently amended in the schedule, the 5th schedule of the IEBC Act. There is a whole process, very elaborate process that we must comply with in terms of even public participation in all those areas. So in looking at the timelines, my fear is, from even the practical point of view, we might not meet that threshold.
Additionally, the IEBC, through its CEO, Hussein Marjan, raised concerns over the reduction into the proposed budget for the next general election. The Commission had requested 61.7 billion shillings, but only 57.3 billion shillings was allocated. Marjan warned that the budget cut may negatively impact key processes such as voter education.
The requirements column, we have got 61.7 billion. That is what we requested for the purpose of by-elections. Then, because of GDP decline, every MD was actually requested to reduce the budget by 4.5%. So also we suffered that, and our budget was reduced from 61.7 to 57.3.
There is the issue of scarcity of resources or limitations in resources, but also we don't need to compromise on the quality, on the timeliness of our electoral processes.
The issue of Kenya's election being among the most expensive in the region, the Con said the country must address the trust deficit. He warned that unless this is resolved, the cost of election will continue to burden taxpayers.
Elections, then disputes thereafter that are actually, even when they are ruled by the courts, people still feel like the commission has not done its job. And by this I mean we saw with the previous commission a serious split, whereby one side was saying this and the other side was saying that.
Yes, where did the rain start beating us? How come we do not trust our electoral systems? How come we don't have confidence? Then how come we are regulating everything that then carries a cost with it? So it will take us a whole paradigm shift, a whole rethinking about our election system, looking at the history and looking at where we want to go, even as we deploy technology.
The IEBC is expected to launch a voter registration drive on Monday next week, targeting 6.3 million Kenyans, most of whom are expected to be young people. Despite numerous challenges facing the electoral body, they've assured Kenyans of credible elections, even as they challenge them to have trust in the Commission. Elizabeth Mutuko, TV47 Parliament Buildings, Nairobi.
All right, there you have it. IEBC will not change boundaries before 2027 polls because of issues of lapsed time, which requires 2 to 3 years, a timeline already rendered impossible by constitutional deadlines. Do you have faith? Of course, the IEBC chairperson, Ethicon, has said that despite that, the elections, the upcoming elections, will be credible and fair. Frank?
Yeah, I think the IEBC is trying their best, because at the same time, we should not be so forgetful. The IEBC, you remember the NADCO report? The IEBC was to form sometimes earlier back, but the same opposition leaders have been rolling in courts, stopping the whole process. That's why we have a delayed IEBC. They played those tactics not knowing that one day they'll eat them. And let me tell you, Anne, I believe in IEBC because as far as they are in the office, they have not been in the office for quite too long, but they are putting in policies despite the fact that there's not enough capital for them to conduct everything, because you know the issue of expanding boundaries and all that, it needs time. And they have felt that they run out of time and maybe it will bring in all the confusion. That's why they have stuck to the plan that let them continue. But we believe in them. I have hope in IEBC. Like any other, the IEBC that have been there, it's about individual candidates preparing themselves well. Because if people decide massively, there's no one who is going to maybe rig election and all that. Yeah.
All right. And it's quite timely because still this week, and I'm drawing this from the TIFA report on Wednesday, and it said that 48% of Kenyans say they have no confidence at all in the IEBC's ability to deliver a free and fair election come 2027, but only 18% said they're very confident in the IEBC. There is another group of 26% who say that they're somewhat confident. How are you wako wapi, wanalai wapi? Sandra, where do you stand? Are you in the 26%, the 48%, or the 18%? Do you have faith in the IEBC to deliver free, fair, and credible election?
Yes, I believe in the IEBC to deliver free and fair elections. Yeah, because I think in 2027 things are going to change. It's not going to be a walk in the path because everyone is very keen, and we are observing everything that is taking place. And this time we don't want jokes. We are very serious with this nation. We don't want jokes that we've been seeing here. And I'm pretty sure that they are going to deliver free and fair results. And lastly, as I wind up, I'd like to invite people to join my party. My women young captain group, it's for women from various universities. It empowers women in all the counties. And also, as we celebrate 20 years of ODM since it started, we welcome people to Mombasa. And also, lastly, I urge the newly formed political parties to respect my party leader, and bloggers to respect my party leader, Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Let's respect his legacy. I believe everyone has seen what Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga has brought in this nation: democracy, human rights, a lot of things. Let's respect His Excellency. And the bloggers, let's be very mindful of what we are doing. Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga is not a man to be joked with. Let's respect him.
All right, great. Now, Christine, 29th September, voter registration begins officially, and there's been calls by the IEBC yesterday that especially the youth should come out in large numbers to take part in this exercise. And looking at that report, that 48% don't have faith in IEBC. Do you feel like Kenyans really are ready to take part in this exercise, the voter registration, which begins on Monday next week?
I feel like Kenyans might not be very willing to take part in this, mostly because in as much as we have the IEBC and they might have the will to give us very fair elections, I feel like from previously we know that being a part of the IEBC and being a part of the elections is a very dangerous affair in our country. Yeah. So I feel like in as much as we really might have faith in the IEBC, I feel like at the end of the day, what happens towards the end is maybe it ends up being bought out, maybe not the whole lot, but a few people, the people that really matter. So I feel like people might not be very willing to take their time and go register and all that, mostly because they feel like it might not make a difference. Though I feel like it is very important that people do, especially youths, because if we do not, then we won't be able to make any change. Yeah, so we really need to go out there, register, and vote. Yeah.
Nancy, do you think that this will, produce good results? The youth coming out in large numbers to, take part in the September 29th voter registration exercise, which begins. IEBC is really targeting the youth. You are a member of you're the DCP youth leader in your constituency. Do you see them coming out in large numbers?
Trust me, that one will happen. Because one thing is, we all want change. Because we have had leaders who failed us, terribly failed us. And until you get to those positions and to those rural areas, whereby you can be able to hear from those people, they already know they are fed up. And trust you me, the youths will come out in numbers. They will register because they really want that change. It's not all about a specific reader. We really want change. And we want a change that is inevitable, change that we can be able to forecast even in our future generations. That is all we want. And in terms of IEBC, I hope they will prove to us that this will be the best IEBC. I hope the name independence will stand to be independence as the earth. And let them prove to us that this will be free and fair elections. And that even in their trainings, they'll be able to teach in a very keen way and in a very inevitable way, such that everyone will be able to understand whatever they are doing and let it be as transparent and make a history in this country. Yes.
Nancy, where do you stand? Are you at the 48% who do not have faith in it, the 18% who have confidence in it, or the 26% who do not know where they stand with the IEBC?
I think I do not know where I stand as at now.
26%?
Yes,
Okay.
because because I do not really know where we stand in. They need to prove to us that we really need to trust.
How would they need to prove to you that you have to, that they are, genuine?
One, they've said they need resources, and we are ready to give them the resources. Of course, the country has to provide resources for all these things. Let our resources show that these people were transparent. Like, there's no leaking, there's no other issues whereby we later come to have court issues and all that. Let them prove to us.
Are you ready to give them the resources, really? They asked for 61.7 billion shillings. They've been given 57.3 billion shillings. Is that, they're saying that is not enough. But do you believe, and owing to the fact that, Kenya's election is already the most expensive in Africa, so do you believe that they can really deliver with what they've been given so far, if you're talking about resources?
Okay, I feel like, yes, they'll be able to deliver, but once they, if we don't have all this misquandering of resources, I think the resources should be available to them. Because if you're not having resources being misused and stolen finances, I think the resources will be there. And unless they put strategies on that, I feel like the resources will be there. But as at now, they really need to convince us that they'll be independent. Yes.
All right. Omoyo, as we wind up on this issue of IEBC, do you believe that by-election will be able to restore public trust? The November 27 by-election, we already have cases of violent disruptions, and I was hoping that question would land on Sandra,
yes.
now that she's
the
from that particular area.
By-election.
But do you think that this by-election will be able to restore that public trust?
Well, I want to say this. It is not our work right now to tell IBC whether we believe in them or not. IBC should get their boots on the ground, perform, deliver, and gain credibility in the eyes of Kenyans. For a long time, electoral bodies have shown a lot of lack of confidence from Kenyans in 2007, in 2013, in 2017, 2022. And we want to hope that in 2027, Marjan and his group at the CON, they are going to deliver a credible election. Talking about the enthusiasm on the ground about the exercise next week of voter registration. I have a younger brother called Clement who took himself to IEBC. He is 18 years old. He took himself to IEBC in Masimba sub-county in Nyaribari Masaba constituency and registered as a voter. That shows there is incredible enthusiasm from young people and many other people that do not have voter registration or are not in the voter roll call. And we believe that come 2027, we want to see IBC deliver an impartial, credible election. We will demand it from us Kenyans. Through all means, we will be able to put pressure on IBC to deliver. And so it is upon them to win our trust. These by-elections that are coming in November 27, we hope that IBC will pass the test of credibility and offer the people of Kenya credible by-elections. In Nyamira, for example, we have 3 by-elections. And we are hoping that IBC will be on time, on top of things. We hope also members of parliament provide the necessary resources for IBC so that we avoid this budgetary drama that IBC want to start creating right now. IBC, we need boundaries. Let me tell you, my sister, there are constituencies in this country that have over 200,000 people. And then there is a constituency in this same country that has 30,000 people. The same people are sharing resources, they are sharing everything, and it's very unfair. We need boundaries as soon as is possible. And if it's upon Parliament to give money to IBC, please facilitate IBC, but we want to encourage IBC with the little that you have gotten. What are you doing with it? With the little that you have gotten.
All right. The youth have been called upon, of course, to take part in the voter registration exercise starting on Monday next week, September 29th. And that I will take as your call to the youth. What we youth? To register as voters. To sample a few of your feedback one more time, Kalenga Philip anasema, if young people want to lead, we must start from the grassroots, mobilize people to elect us as MCAs, MPs, and other representative positions. Mike Tess anasema, ODM are supporting the government because Raila is eating with the government. When he will be full and decide to move out, they will also move out. They use Raila's brain to think. That is according to Mike Tess, watching us live from Facebook. But currently, as we speak, there is an ongoing press conference. UDA is issuing nomination certificates to their candidates for the upcoming by-election. They are speaking at the UDA headquarters here in Nairobi. Deputy President Kithure Kindiki is currently addressing the press. He has mentioned a few things, that they agreed with ODM to field candidates in some parts and also UDA to other places, and they're fielding candidates to 17 by-elections. On SHA, he says that the government's target is to 30 million registered people by SHA, that is by December, and 55 million people by 2027. That is the target the government has for the number of people they want to register by SHA in that time. President Uhuru started the affordable housing, it's important to note, but abandoned it because of politics. But according to Deputy President Kithure Kindiki, says they have decided to bite the bulletin. The president received a world recognition at UNGA because of housing. That is according to Deputy President Kithure Kindiki, who is currently speaking at the UDA headquarters here in Nairobi. That brings us to the end of Youth Perspective this morning. Thank you so much, Frank Okanga. We have Sandra here as well. We have Nancy, DCP Youth Leader Kipiripiri, and Omoyo, as well as, I mentioned, you, Christine, as well. That is the digital voter. What is it called? Digital vote?
Advocate.
No, digital work and
digital work, and as well as a youth advocate. Thank you so much for watching and for coming, ladies and gentlemen, to help us understand what is shaping the political landscape in the country this week, and of course today ahead of the Jubilee NDC. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation all the way from 6 a.m. up until now. Don't go too far. Do stay with us. Bansi Kimuyu will be joining us again, and DJ Kicks for some feel-good Friday vibes. My name is Anne Odida. Good morning.